everyone, and welcome to the WhotKnot studio. I thought today I'm just about to start making a journal out of this box, and I thought, well, I'll flick the camera on so that you guys can see how I go about that little job. But I hope you're all well. I hope you're enjoying. Here in Australia, we're having a little bit more of a sunny experience, so that's much nicer, and the weather's starting to warm up, so I'm very happy about that. But anyway, let's get on with this little project. I've tried to prep a few things so that I'm not dithering around too much, but I will say that I bought these parmesan and herb grains, and I thought that they were okay, but my hubby liked them. He thought that they were really nice. Yeah, just a little bit of FYI on those. But I kept the box because I liked the depth of the side of the box here, and I've made a few journals from boxes like this, and they make it's just a really nice size journal. It's deep enough that you can put a few signatures in it and get a bit of substance to it. So I thought I would do that today. I've also got a few bits here that I've prepped because I'm thinking that I will cover this journal in fabric, and I wanted to have it to have a little bit of the squish factor. So I've got a little bit of wadding and stuff there. And I've also prepped a few pieces for the inside. And this is just some cardboard packaging that I got from the book depository. So yeah, let's get on with it. So the first thing I like to do is basically dismantle the box. And I'm not too fussed about how this all happens, but I like to sort of use these flaps to strengthen the box, so I try not to rip them too much. And once you've got it open, you'll be able to see inside where the join is, and it's down this side. So if you carefully pull it apart on the join, you can get it apart pretty easily. All right, so there we go. So the first thing that I like to do is take that extra flap off, and you can use that for covering to put in the journal later on and things like that. So don't throw it away. It's a good one. Where's my little knife? There it is. And I did buy a new metal ruler, and I've cleaned up my craft room, and I cannot find it anywhere. The story of a crafter's life, constantly looking for the things that you want to use. So I'll just remove that piece for starters. And then what I like to do is to give a little bit more strength, I like to glue all these down. I keep them, not sure if I'll keep those ones because I am going to attach, and whether it needs that extra thickness, I don't know. Let me just see how it feels, because once you sort of start layering paper and things like that on, it can get thick very quickly. What I might do is fold it. I'll attach these pieces and then fold it over. So first of all, I'm going to stick these flaps down. And as I say, this all just adds a little bit of extra strength in the end result. But these cardboard boxes make really good journals. The cardboard initially seems quite flimsy, but once you start putting things in it, gluing paper, getting it all stuck down, it gets a lot of substance to it really quickly. All right. Now I've pre-cut this so that I could just put it straight in. And this is a fairly thick piece of cardboard, and I usually save these because I get these watercolour journals, these watercolour pads because I do quite a bit of watercolouring. And what I like to do is keep this piece of cardboard off the back of them because it is quite thick, it's really sturdy, and with the size of it, you can get several book edges out of it. So don't ever throw those away. They're good value for money. So stick that back away so it's out of the way. Oh, I glued that already. What am I doing? All right, now I'll glue this section in. So I use the fabric glue to start with and just get it all glued in. Give it a good amount of glue, although it will be stuck in too because you are going to sew the signatures in through this piece of card as well. So that'll also add to its strength. So I'll stick that in. I'll stick that way. In this video, I'm just going to show you how I put the journal together, and as I go along, I'll show you how I line it and everything like that. But this is just a quick, hopefully, we'll see, quick little video on how I get this together to begin with. All right, now I cut these, and I think I've cut them just a tiny bit big, so I'll leave, I need to trim about, like a tiny little bit off the bottom there, so I'll do that. Get my knife. These knives are sharp, you've got to be careful with them, that's for sure. I'm going to take, it's better for it to be a smidge undersized than oversized, unless you want to extend the size of the book, of course, and then you can definitely make it a bit bigger. All right, so we've got that, should fit in there now pretty nicely. I like to leave a tiny little gap here so that, because if you butt it right up, the book won't close as easily. So I like to leave just a couple of millimetres really is all you need to give it that little bit of movement. It's got the ability to sort of move around. All right, let's glue this bad boy in. I've had a very busy week this week with one thing and another. I've had Rusty and Dobby both having surgery this week, both my dogs. Rusty's went really well. Dobby's still got all his bandages on his foot, so he's had some glass removed from his foot that he managed to get stuck in there. So that's all happened this week, and I feel like I've been basically living at the vet's, going back and forth there. But we seem to be getting on top of it now, so that's good. All right, I am going to fold these over, I've decided. Where's my bone folder? I'll just give them a good crease down. And another thing that I like to use, if you want to get them to hold securely while they set up, is I've got some of these little clips. I'll just grab them. These little clips. They're like having an extra pair of hands, they are. So I'll just glue that down. Again, I probably could use the craft glue or the art glitter glue, but I'm going to use the fabric glue because this is the main structure of the journal. I want it to be good and solid. So I'll just put a couple of those along there until they get set. And we'll do this edge as well. And it doesn't matter if the box is a little bit ripped because you will be covering it, gluing it. It'll have embellishments and all sorts of bits and pieces on it, I'm assuming, by the time, well, mine will, by the time I'm finished with it. So that all gets covered up and it's no problem whatsoever. So let's squash that down. Give it a nice fold there. Put some clips in it to hold everything in place. You can see it's starting to get sunnier. I've got a bit of glare happening from the sunshine. So that's that side. We'll just work on this side now. Got me a bit of cardboard here. I do need to take a smidge off the edge of it. So I'll just take that off. I'm just going to lay that little piece that I took off the other one on there to get it the same size. So I'll just line that up there like that. And away we go. Once I've got the first one in business. There we go. Like I said, those knives are really good, but really, really sharp. All right, I'm going to lay that side face up so that I've got a clear run on it. And when I cover this, I normally use the 12 by 12 cardstock. So that's why I use a much thicker piece for the centre than I do for the back and the front, because it's going to get more on it anyway. Although I will cover that middle section, I usually like to cover that with a nice piece of fabric. So we'll get that in. In it goes, leaving a tiny little gap there for ability to close, open and close. Push it down good. Good. Probably just a tiny bit more. The other thing with the fabric glue is it gives you a couple more minutes to get everything lined up the way you want it to. There we go, nice. All right, so we'll put some glue on this bit and get that folded over and in place. And some little clips on it to hold everything together. Dropping them now. That'll dry pretty quickly, but the clips will just help it not flick up. There we go. So I hope you're all well. I'm hoping at the end of September I'm going to have a lot more free time because I will finish the advents. So a few of you that have watched my videos in the past and enjoy the knitting sections that I do are waiting with bated breath for me to do another one of those videos, and I appreciate you, especially you, Glenda, hanging around. I know that you're waiting for the knitting. I will hopefully in September get my act into gear, and I will do another podcast style video in September, and I'll show you what I'm up to with my knitting. So there we go. We've got that all in place, so you can see how quickly it takes the form of a book. And what I like to do, and the only reason I do this is because I saw Pam on the Paper Outpost do it, so it must be correct. I've got this, it's basically like builder's tape. So it's super sticky and super strong. And I like to put this in mainly because Pam is who I was watching originally to find out how to do these. And she did this, and she has obviously made quite a lot of journals. Oh, sorry about that terrible noise. And this is going to just keep everything nice and solid. But you do have to be kind of careful with it because it is really really sticky. So it's not like this kind of thing that you can put down and peel up again. What did I do with my bone? Oh, there it is, my bone folder I'm looking for. So what you need to do is, if you do use this builder style tape, you need to push it into that crease so that it doesn't create like a bridge and make it difficult to fold. So get that into the crease and then fold that section down. And yeah, that'll keep everything good and in place. So it still opens and shuts freely. I like to always keep checking that, because there's nothing worse than getting a book and you can only open it to a certain point. You want to be able to actually be able to open it full swing. So, yep. Especially if you get a lot of pages in there and it's getting kind of chunky and thick. So I'll trim that off in a second. I'll just put a bit on this side as well. But any kind of builder's tape, if you go to Bunnings or a hardware, Mitre 10 or whatever. Oh, sorry about that dreadful noise again, but got to do what you got to do, hey? Any type of builder's tape, because it's really, really, really sticky and strong. I bought this off Amazon, and the only reason, again, that I bought this particular brand was because it was the one that Pam recommended. So I tracked it down and got myself some. And I tell you, that's a big roll. It's going to last me a long time. I'll get that into the crease there. And then, and you won't see any of this. I know the tape doesn't look that fabulous, but you won't even know it's there by the time this journal's finished. It'll just add that extra element of structure to the journal. There we go. And then we can just, you could fold that over on itself or just trim it off. I might fold it over just to give it something to attach to. And there was a little rip in the box just there, so that covers that little rip as well. So that's serving double duty. There we go. And I'll do the same on this end. Getting all up in your business there, sorry about that. There goes the postie going past doing all that tooting again, raising the dogs up, so sorry about that. The only good thing about it is that might mean there's a parcel there for me, which I'm all about. All right, so there we go. We've got it all together now and looking good. And what I'm going to do on the front section here, that glue's probably pretty close to dry, so I'm going to take that out. And I'm going to glue my wadding on the front here. So I've cut it out a little bit bigger than it needs to be. I'm not quite sure whether I'm going to wrap it around, so I was giving myself a little bit of scope for that. And I have forgotten to cut out a strip for the spine, so I will get that too. I'll just go and grab that now. Okay, so I've quickly grabbed a piece of wadding for the spine, so we're in business. So first of all, I'm going to get some glue on here, and I'm going to use the fabric glue again. And as you can see, that cardboard juts out by a couple of millimetres on this side. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm happy for the book to be just a slight bit wider than the box. And that's what I was sort of saying to you guys before, that you can adjust the size even if the box isn't quite the size you want it to be. You can even adjust the spine by cutting it and hinging the back and the front of the box to the spine. but I'm happy with the thickness of the spine, so I'm not going to worry about that. So I'm going to lay that piece there, get it glued down. Like I said, I want to cover this in fabric, this book, and I want it to have a slightly sort of plush feel to it. So I'm not quite sure. I don't think I am going to fold that over. Maybe just on that edge, but maybe, I don't know. I'm going to think on that a little bit more, I think. The only reason I'm thinking about folding it over is because that would give it a nice smooth edge. And I'll have to wrap the fabric around as well. So I'm just a little bit worried that it's going to get a bit too chunky. So I've cut that a bit wide. So let me just trim this down to about there. As you can see, everything I am doing, I'm strategically measuring, checking many times to make sure I've got it accurate. Not. And I'll keep that little bit of wadding because that'll make like nice little bit of padding on snippets and things like that. So it's so hard to throw anything away these days. It's terrible. All right. I think I need to take just a tiny bit more off that. I will throw this slither away. Just a tiny little slither to get that off there. There we go. And let's see. The reason I'm doing it in sections is so that it doesn't pull tight, because if I lay one sheet straight across here, when I bent it, it would pull tight around those edges, and I don't want that. So I've still got that tiny bit too wide, so I'm going to take a tiny bit more off that. And I don't know why I'm having to recut this after I've measured it so carefully the first time. There we go. I'm heading out and about tomorrow into the big wide world, so that's going to be fun. Heading out and about, Susan and I have got a couple of things to do, some last minute bits and pieces with the advents. So we are heading out into the world, and I'm looking forward to having a nice lunch out, and we are going to have a nice day. Hopefully I will be masked up, of course, because I don't want to get COVID at this point. I've managed to avoid it thus far and would like to continue. So I'll be taking my hand sanitizer, which is like almost standard these days, isn't it? Put your lipstick and your hand sanitizer in your handbag. All right, let's get this piece on. There we go. That's going to fit perfectly. Some fabric glue. This journal is a custom order. So I've checked with the lady that I'm making this for, and she's quite happy for me to work on it on the channel. So I thought, as I was doing something different from the flip-flop journal, although there are going to be some flip-flops in this journal, I've already thought about it. And although the lady that's purchased this wanted a slightly more traditional journal, and I'm happy to do that, she did like the look of the flip-flops, so I will put a few of those in as well. So there we go. That's what we've got here. And I think, what am I going to do here? I think I will fold it over. So I'll cut these corners out to make sure it's not getting too bulky on the corners, because I would like if I can, I would like to put book corners on it if it doesn't get too chunky, because I think that they finish off a journal like this, the little book corners. There we go. I'll just pull it nice and tight. Oh, make sure I'm in camera shot. Bit of glue, fabric glue. Folding that over. I'll just pull that tight and I don't know if I'll need to clip that or not. Just if I pull it firmly, it makes it a bit thinner at that edge, but gives it a nice rolled edge there. So that's what I was looking for. So I'm happy with that. And I'm just going to take a little bit more out of that corner. Like I said, I don't want the corners to get overly bulky. So we'll just take that out of the corner there. We'll roll this bit down. It's amazing how quickly a box transforms to a book. So, and like I said, it doesn't really matter what this all looks like at this stage because it's all going to get covered up. But here, I don't know if you can see, I've slightly overlapped the wadding and I don't want that. So I'm just cutting that away because I just want one layer of wadding. I don't want it to get thick, too thick in spots. So that's that. Put another bit down here. What are you guys all making? Are you working on your journals? Are you knitting? I normally like to do a bit of watercolour and things like that. I haven't done any watercolour for ages. So I'd like to get back to the watercolour. And for those that have been watching me for a long time, if you're popping in today, you know that in the past my husband has given me some kits. He buys the children's kits at Bunnings for me, and then I make them with an adult spin on it. So I've got about 3 of those lined up there that he gave me earlier this year and I haven't done. So I'd like to get on and do those. And I also like to make my daughter something every year for Christmas. And whether it's a knitted item, like last year I made her a book, a journal, and the year before I made her a knitted cat, which had all the bells and whistles on it. So each year I like to make her something, and I've seen something that I'd like to have a go at, but I haven't decided, and I don't want to say because she might watch this and then she'll know what her Christmas present's going to be. So I'll have to speak to her and tell her not to watch the next few. Well, when I start doing it, I might do some of it on the channel. And I'll have to tell her not to watch, which she won't be able to help herself. She'll probably watch. And the bad news is, which I hadn't told you guys, is that the last time I spoke to you, Mill was coming up. And it's been cancelled. She's not coming anymore. She's hoping to change her time till October. She'll come in October. I'm really, really disappointed, but I understand. One of their cats got unwell a little while ago, and they took their little cat to the vet. When I say little cat, she's a big cat. She's 15, and I think Beck, Mill's partner, has had her since she was a kitten. Anyway, she's got cancer, and the vet's basically given her a couple of weeks to live. So Mill and Beck, obviously, and I would be the same, they don't want to leave her and come on a holiday. They would be worried about her the whole time, and yeah, so they've cancelled their holiday, unfortunately, and they're going to stay with Daisy, that's their cat, Daisy, and give her all the royal treatment until her time is done. but she's had a very good life. She's a bit of a nasty cat. Well, when I visited Mill, I never had a problem with her, but she's one of those cats that you could be patting her 1 minute, and the next minute she's scratching your eyes out. I don't know why. I mean, I never had a problem with her, but I know Mill's had a problem with her in the past. So, yeah. Poor old Daisy. There we go. So that's all covered, and that's what we've got. And I've got some fabric here, but I don't know if this will be maybe just the base fabric. I've got this fabric that I thought I might use. It won't be the finished result because I'm not sure. I might do a printable on some of my beautiful linen that I've got and then hand stitch that over the top of this. But I thought as a base to begin with, this might be nice to start off with. I just want to check to make sure that things aren't going to show through because this is pretty thin, this fabric. So I want to make sure it's nice, obviously. And the lady who has asked for this journal has said that she likes the pinks and the creams. So I thought I could cover it with this, or the other things that I've got is some doilies and things like that. And yeah, I usually do the inside last because I like to put some brads and like the book plate and things like that, and that all shows on the back side. And so what I like to do is get all that done and then cover it up so you can't see any of that. So yeah, I think what I'll do is cover the book in this fabric as a base, and then I will build onto it with different fabrics to create the front of the journal. But yeah, I'll do that. I'll show you what I'm up to on the next video. But this is where I'll leave it because I really just wanted to show you how the structure of this box would come together to create a journal. If you wanted to do something like this as well, you don't have to cover it in the wadding if you just want it to be a traditional book. But I just feel like it gives a nice hand feel once it's full and covered, and yeah. But I've got a lot more work to do, and I will bring you along for some of the journey, but this is where we're up to at this stage. If you want to make along with me, feel free, and you can work up to this point and then watch the next video and we can do that together. Let me know if you're going to do that, and because I'd love to see your progress. All right, guys, I'll leave it there. Thank you so much for popping in to see me. I will see you on the next video, hopefully very soon. Stay safe and well and look after yourselves. Bye.